So Dipankar, thanks a ton for joining us at OpenTap. It's a pleasure having you.
My pleasure too. Thank you, Amit. I have passed out approximately 35 years, 34, 35 years back from, actually I have passed out 30 years back from IIT, joined 34 years back. And today when I look back, I find that, some of this is overhyped. Obviously, IIT gives you a head start. Of course, give an opportunity of some of the best and brightest people to be selected for a particular institution. But life is far bigger than, going to these very famous or prestigious institutions. First is we have to be, aware of the fact that while we are a country of 130 crores, very few people are privileged enough to get an opportunity to take a serious shot at this entrance exam. So, thinking that I am the first 2000 or whatever, when probably 95% of the people are not getting a chance at all, is something, you can inflate your ego, but that may not be reality. Second is a large number of people who go to IITs and IIMs, is my mind, are actually very smart people, very intelligent people. But we very loosely use this term brilliant. Brilliant is a different breed altogether, maybe. But unfortunately, a very small segment are doing something today, if from the context of my batch or the batches around me, which are of relevance to a large number of people. I see a lot of leadership is today coming from, in every sphere, coming from people who have not been to these, so-called prestigious institutions, but because of sheer hard work, common sense, and commitment. Probably young people are thinking that they have to make it to IIT at any cost. I don't want to discourage them, but thinking that this is everything in life and you will be ahead of everything just because you made it to some of these premier institutions, it is not the case. Yeah.
So Dipankar, I've seen your profile, and broadly, it seems like you've been in the corporate world for the last 30 odd years. So you started your journey in 1990, and come 2020, 2019, if I'm not mistaken, you've actually made a move in terms of moving from a corporate, world to joining a university in Calcutta. Can you tell us the trigger for moving out from corporate world?
I have been part of my association, apartment. I have been heading my local chapter of my college alumni. I have, part of Rotary, and I have been working very closely with various organizations who work on the grassroots. So, I have been working with schools, I have been working with the police, I have been working with the governance, and I was finding it always very fulfilling. Second thing is that, when it comes to corporate, I felt that, everybody probably after a couple of decades in corporate feels a sense of fatigue. Of course, a lot of people, you hear this midlife crisis and all that, but a lot of people continue for very reasons which is very personal to them. I could have also probably continued, dragged on, but I was not having much of inspiration left. The other thing which I have been very passionate about, and I was very fortunate even in corporate context to do, is teaching. There had been times where almost 45 to 60 days a year I have been, giving some training or other. Though they are not necessarily my part of the job, but out of interest, I have probably taught. When I felt this saturation, and at the same time, I wanted to tie back some of my ambitions of working on, the larger section beyond the corporate. Also, doing something for my home state. I come from West Bengal. So I knew this gentleman who is the founder of one of the groups, large educational group in East. And I reached out to him and I said that, I want to teach for a couple of days a week. And he said that, why don't you put and do something which is very similar to your current job, which is expanding the group. And so I took the plunge. So I got, fulfillment of multiple things. One is the biggest thing is ability to connect with young people every day. And young people who are in the formative age. Within IT industry, you interact with young people, but here are the people who are, late teens, max, and then they are thinking of multiple dimensions, including simple problems like what should I what should be my goal, which focus, should I travel, should I be out of the city, out of country, higher education, and it's so invigorating. That is, second is, the teaching part, which I think many people in corporate misunderstand teaching, and a lot of them think that, I will become a teacher. Let me tell you that for 1 hour of class, people usually have to at least, prepare for 2 to 3 hours to make it meaningful. And so it's a very hard work, and of course, very stimulating, intellectually stimulating. Third is, I got a lot of flavor of my corporate, job also. Growing the business. The business is small, obviously, compared to Infosys, but, challenges are that much more. We don't have a structured HR, for example. I am setting up the HR function. I am setting up the placement function. I am setting up, how the research should be done. So multiple dimensions of which as a corporate, somewhere similar to the challenges corporate, and I am able to bring in my many years of experience of having worked also in not just in functions like finance or audit or sales and marketing, but also planning and strategy. With uncertainty everywhere, I think whatever you are doing, you don't know what you will end up doing. So best time to probably do whatever you always wanted to do and take the chance.
So Dipankar, I know you've had a long corporate career, the longest stint, I think, being in Infosys and holding really senior positions in all these corporates. When you hire people, what is it that you're looking at?
All organizations look for, all good organizations look for 3 or 4 things. One is that, can you communicate, verbally and in a written format? And when I say communicate, it's not good English. It's not, standing on a podium and giving a lecture. It is, communication is a complex task. You say that if you tell 100, whatever you say, 10% reaches the person in front of you, and actually 1% actually the person understands. So can you communicate effectively? Point number 2 is, can you work in groups? Can you lead at times? Can you be a team player at times? Can you be a subordinate at some other time? Seamlessly, can you bring consensus in the team? Can you align team to a common goal? Can you bring new ideas? Can you appreciate new ideas? Can you build on ideas which are coming rather than, always confronting them? Third thing is, and that is a very, very important thing, I think, is can you deliver on what you promise? So once you have promised, you deliver. And point number 4 will be, do you have, and here I think I will essentially say that, do you have common sense? We will define common sense as a very simple thing. It is nothing but a problem solving mindset at every instance.
So is finding a purpose an elusive dream for most of us, or do you think it is more of a choice that a person can make?
Yeah, I guess that, there are 4 types. One is the survival. I think I also covered in my first part of the, first question, that 95% of the people have no choice. They are just surviving. I am talking of India. The remaining 5%, I think large majority just want to have a job. I have been influenced by this book by 7 Habits, the Stephen Covey books of 7 Habits of highly successful people. And he talks about principles, right? He talks about everything. What are your principles? So if I look back, I probably have 3-4 principles which I've defined. First principle is that, this is a poor country which has made us privileged, and a lot of people remain poor for us to have a good life. I think it is important for us to try to maximize what we can do for it. Okay. Now, I'm not saying I'm doing something extraordinary which others are not. I'm just talking from my own life and how I judged. Second thing is that, we have 3 lives, right? Social life, personal life, and professional life. And we have 3 broad ones. One is money, second is fame, third is power. We have to find a balance among the lives and among the wants. So, if you can align the personal, professional, social life in the same way. For example, if somebody wants to spend a lot of time with family, but then they also take up a sales job. That is a conflict. But thankfully, academics gives you a, academic institution gives you a large amount of alignment. And the third angle is essentially to find out, what is that you want to do. And this is where I will take this, similarity of good to great. If you have picked up the book, see, we all lead, at least the privileged ones, that you all lead a good life. The good life is good food, good money, but very few people, want to work hard to leave a legacy, right? So I had always been thinking, what is my legacy, right? So maybe right now, I think even if I can make 10 good people out of the college who probably become very good citizens and make a difference in the society, that will be my legacy. So finding a legacy or finding a way to move your life from just good life to great life will probably be a way to look at, what you can do. And that is where somebody might find a purpose.
So Dipankar, do you mind talking about your initiative on COVID-19? I know you have started a initiative on YouTube talking about COVID-19 and its economic impact. Do you want to talk about that?
Good that you brought in, Amit. Thank you. So when this whole thing happened, I found that there is a significant amount of confusion or lack of awareness, or both, among the people, and there is a lot of emotion and a lot of fear. And I felt that, why not I make in my small way an attempt to put them all in a structured fashion, primarily with the opinions of the experts, with a little bit of, topping it up with my integrating view. And what I did is I started a series of lectures every day in the evening at 8 o'clock. I take a Zoom webinar where I invite all my students and faculty and other people also, if they are willing to join. And I have covered quite a number of episodes, typically around 30 minutes. I have covered a section on what is COVID and where it came from, what is the virus, everything. Second was, how the society is expected to change. What are people foreseeing? Third was about COVID and economy in general, and then a bunch of separate discussions on various industry segments. COVID affecting aviation, or COVID affecting manufacturing, COVID affecting agriculture. The idea is that if somebody tomorrow wants to get an overall view, a bird's eye view, and have some time in hand, maybe they can look at it. And obviously, people who are in these various industries, let me tell you, COVID is going to affect everything. There's nothing which is not going to be affected. Nothing which is not going to be affected. So if they want to pick up some of the facets which may be relevant to them, for example, somebody is in manufacturing and want to see how social distancing will work there, probably they can look at one of my lectures and get at least a broad view of how things are going to pan out. Each of the lectures have a bunch of references where they can go back and study in more detail. So that's my small attempt, and I have done 7 episodes, and I want to complete the whole series. There'll be total 6 more. So
I would appeal to people who are in those relevant industries or sectors, if they want to get more insights around construction and other sectors which the Pankaj is going to cover, they might just go have a look and get a perspective on how things are going to
sure.
perhaps play out in the industry.